So it is October 25th, and by the time that you guys see this video, my announcement video has already been posted as public, and it will have been a crazy weekend, I hope. I hope lots of people see that video. I am currently in the car, yes, because this is the only private place that I have to film. And I only have a few minutes because I only have a little bit of battery. So I am popping on today to basically film why I waited so long to share my spirituality with everyone. Honestly, this is a very important video for me for a couple different reasons. One being that I'm finally being open and honest with my spirituality and what it means for me, and two, now that I'm finally being able to share it with you guys openly, I feel like you guys are getting a much more accurate, in-close, up-close, in-depth view of my life and what it means to be me, and I guess kind of seeing the world through my eyes. This video is important, I guess, for all of those reasons, and for the fact of actually explaining to you guys why I waited and why I did everything almost in divine timing, I guess. Yet again, I don't feel like I was fully led to share the video when I was, because I feel like if I would have listened to my gut, I would have shared it a lot sooner. That's just where we're at with it. So let's get into the video, and let me give you, yes, I have it on a sticky note, just some bullet points that I want to mention today. So let's just get into the video, grab a snack, let me explain myself, and here we go. I guess first, let's address the most obvious reason why I waited to share my spirituality side with everyone. And the basic answer is just that I wasn't ready to share it when I fully started to recognize that I was spiritual and that I did believe in spirituality and where I identify now. A lot of that, I feel, had to do with confidence, because I was learning things all throughout my spiritual awakening process. Like, I was going to see Mary Ann, who was also my spiritual teacher. I was going to see her regularly, so obviously being in contact with her, I was learning things through her. I was learning things on my own. I was learning things through other people on social media that are also spiritual. So there was a large growth process during the spiritual awakening. And if I would have shared, I guess, this side of me when I first started awakening, I have a feeling that there would have been a lot of information that I would have looked back on and either viewed as incorrect or information that I might not have shared it in a certain way. Like, I feel like I've gained a little bit of some maturity when it comes to this topic now. And I wouldn't have necessarily had the confidence to be able to discuss all of these things with you guys, because yet again, I'm still learning. Which kind of brings me to point number 2, which we'll get into in a minute. But I was still learning, I'm still learning, and having, I guess, the guts to share what I was learning wasn't necessarily in my realm of confidence, because I was very nervous and concerned, and I still am to a certain point, of maybe not always speaking the truth. Now, before I get any hate for that, it's not that I would lie or mislead on purpose. It's rather based on lack of knowledge or experience that I would accidentally misguide or misspeak that I was afraid of at the very beginning. And at this point, I'd still say that I am very nervous of misleading and misguiding and even having a little bit of imposter syndrome. even having some imposter syndrome is very much a thing still. So naturally, it was very present at the very beginning of my awakening process. So I wasn't ready because of that reason. And probably the most important subpoint to that obvious point of not being ready to share was that now that I feel like I'm in a really good place to share. And I say that for a couple of reasons. Obviously for the personal reasons that I've already kind of shared just a few minutes ago. But more importantly, I am now in a place where I feel like there's starting to become more and more of a community around it. And I feel like because others have started to pave the way, I feel more open and able to share my aspects regarding this realm. I almost feel like people have paved a way in a certain sense. And I feel like in order to benefit, because yet again, like, this channel was kind of designed for a multifaceted purpose. I feel now that it's becoming more popular, I feel like it's time to make my presence known to the YouTube platform in the spiritual realm as well. And I feel like I have a certain advantage over others for the sense that I am still learning, I am still growing, and I'm not too far along my spiritual awakening for you guys to not see that part. And I'll dive a little bit more in depth into that and what I mean by that. So a lot of the channels that I've found is basically full-blown consciousness. There's no beginner stages. There's no discussion as to why people feel the way that they do about the topic. There's no room for doubt on those channels. And yet again, I think part of what the viewers need to see, who are also spiritual and who are also going through their awakening process, is the fact that there is a whole lot of gray area before, I guess, a person solidifies their viewpoints in terms of this topic that other platforms, that other channels aren't necessarily showing. Not to be shady or to fake consciousness, or I guess to kind of blow off or put up a persona for the viewer, but rather I feel like they've almost started filming their awakening process so late that it makes it hard for new viewers, like I once was, to really understand spirituality and spiritual awakening and what everything means. When I first, like a perfect example, when I first started learning that I was becoming spiritual or that I was awakening, I would come across channels that would have such serious dialogue and context and such large topics. And instead of breaking it down for a very beginner to see and to model and to, I guess, become acquainted with, they were talking so much vocab, so many theories, so many laws, and it became very confusing. So I feel like now, because even though I still have been through this awakening process for over a year now, I still consider myself a baby in all of this. And now that I have some experience behind me, because I've become more connected to my spirit guides and have talked and learned and been in this realm for over a year now, I feel like I have two things going for me. One, the experience, and still the very beginning steps of my awakening process. I feel confident, I feel excited, and I feel open to sharing this realm with you guys more in depth. And yet again, I think the way that I am choosing to handle this topic, life pattern, lifestyle, however you want to call it, I think it's going to not only benefit me, but of course it's going to benefit you guys. And to be able to provide support for people who have similar experiences as I do, where you still have doubts, where you still have concerns, and you feel like you know so many things and you have these bursts of intuition, but at the same time having the doubts and the concerns, and just navigating life as a human just beginning to awaken. That brings us to point number 2, which I kind of talked a little bit about in point number 1. But point number 2 being the fact that I wanted to learn more about this topic, lifestyle, whatever you want to refer to it as, in order to, I guess, know what I was talking about and I guess really understand what I was signing on to. Going into this path for way longer than a year now, I still have so much to learn, and looking back where I was when I first started to awaken versus now, there have been so many experiences and stories and just growth that I knew I needed before I started sharing everything with you guys. I wanted to know exactly what I was representing and what I stood for before realizing that I was going down a path or even a lifestyle that I didn't necessarily want to be in after all. Like, I wanted time to make my choice and to learn about it and to become acquainted with it and figure out where this lifestyle fits into my lifestyle and what I do agree with and what I don't agree with. Just finding those basic truths for myself within this realm before I was open with it and before I shared, before I really knew what I was saying or what I was supporting or what I was behind. So I wanted to educate myself before I took on this platform of sharing and providing advice and support for something I might not have even supported myself or agreed with or understood. Educating myself was a very top priority before I even wanted to share my thoughts with you guys. And now that I've had those experiences and I have some stories to tell, I'm in a place where I am educated and I know what I'm talking about, and being in a place where I'm still yet learning and growing and trying to figure stuff out, it's a perfect place to start documenting and sharing with you guys. That way you guys can have a buddy too when you guys are starting to awaken, or at least have some support if you're already in that process and you don't know what the heck's going on. So that brings me to most likely my final point of why I waited so long to share this identity with you. And it's probably the biggest reason why I waited. And it's only natural that this is the sole reason why I waited. And I waited because I was terrified of people's judgments of me, which honestly shouldn't have been a thing, but it was. Oftentimes when a person says that they're spiritual or they have different views in terms of religion or lifestyle, people often get the wrong impression. In fact, there are several people that I could probably name off right now that would probably disagree with this lifestyle choice, this spiritual belief system that I have, not being solely based in religion, etc. Because spirituality has so many underlying subpoints and is so vague, people can oftentimes get the wrong interpretations of what spirituality means. Because I do tarot, or I collect crystals, or I do different routines, which yet again I haven't really done at this point yet, just being honest and transparent with you guys. Because I do all of these things that are viewed as immoral or I guess sacrilegiously, or not honoring God in a certain manner compared to other Christians. You know, sometimes you automatically get categorized as being evil. Just all of these incorrect categorizations or titles to your name. I wasn't ready for that. You know, I have friends and family members that probably don't necessarily know what spirituality entails and could easily get sucked up into the belief that I am an evil person, that I don't believe in God, that there's so much more than what others could potentially see, and I wasn't ready to deal with those judgments. And that goes especially for being here at DJ's with the kiddos and our employees and staff. It was never my intent to make anyone feel uncomfortable about my spirituality. For the longest time, and still now, I try to keep my spiritual beliefs out of the shop as much as I can, because I don't want to make any of the kids feel uncomfortable or make their parents question whether or not it's a wise decision to even have their kids there working for people like us. You know, it's just, I've been very cautious to share this with really anyone for fear of the judgment and possibly repercussions of said judgments. But at this point in the game, I really don't care. Like, it's kind of freeing to say it. I mean, at the end of the day, I can be mature enough and respect your beliefs. And that's all I ask in return, is that you can respect my beliefs. You might not have to understand them. You don't have to agree with them. You don't have to disagree with them. You don't have to make any comments about them. Like, at the end of the day, I'm doing what I feel is right and accurate for me. And as long as you are doing what feels accurate and right to you, more power to you. Like, for the first time, I am not afraid of those judgments, because I know that at the end of the day, I am doing what's right for me. And I would be stupid to turn a blind eye after everything that I've learned, that I've experienced, that exists. The spiritual realm exists. For me, it makes sense. It might not make sense to you or to others. That's why I waited so long to share, because I was nervous about what other people thought, and I'm finally to the point of being past that. Thank you for your support and your openness to learn more about me, about the spiritual realm, and just being open to new information and being willing to grow and educate yourself further that you might not even understand at this point. So thank you for your openness and your support. And then I definitely want to thank you for watching this video and for giving this video a like if you enjoyed it, if you found it useful or beneficial. Definitely share with friends, family, neighbors, whoever you feel would resonate with this information. This information in this video, or any information in past videos or videos going forward. But with that being said, I'm going to let you guys go, because this was kind of a long-winded video. Necessary video, but long-winded. And after the third video being filmed today, my voice has had it, if you can probably tell. So we're going to go inside. We're going to reward ourselves with some Halloween movies, because yes, Halloween is this week at the time that I'm filming this, and I'm gonna go enjoy some Halloween festivities, because even though we're spiritual, we also like earth things too. I'll catch you guys later. Remember the saying, live, lead, love. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Thank you. Bye.